Hey everybody, this is a LEGO Atlantis set from 2010. It's called the Atlantis Exploration HQ, so it was pretty important. And one of the minifigures on the screen right now is incorrect. Don't worry about that. I will cover that when I get to talking about the minifigures, but first let's talk about the main structure. This thing really owns that color scheme of Atlantis for the explorers, with the trans bright green contrasted against a regular red color. It's a color combination that I just would never have expected to work, especially for underwater stuff where, you know, they had done so well with just the traditional yellow submarine color for many of their underwater themes and for some of the bases even, but this really worked out, and I really like the use of so much roundness. So many of the pieces are rounded off, and it really just helps with the overall shape, makes it look like it belongs underwater. There's a fair amount of detail as well, and a little bit of action feature, play feature stuff here with a flick fire missile over here. You can rotate that around, so you can consider that to be a turret. This can be rotated, this little thruster, I guess, for just kind of helping to keep the base in place against strong currents, but we'll find out a little bit more about that shortly. These are our turrets as well. They can be used to fire off, I mean, they don't physically fire off, but you can consider those to be spear gun turrets. You can also take the spear guns out individually and use those one by one with the figures, and the other side is just mirrored. So what you're looking at over here is pretty much the same thing from this side. You can pull this down to get a little bit of view inside, and that's just a little workstation. They've got a fish in there. I guess they're doing a little bit of well, either preparation for cooking or some scientific measurements off it. And you can't really see anything here from this side, but as we turn this around, this is kind of the interior space of the whole place, and there's just enough room to put a couple of figures in there with a couple of consoles. You can use those for whatever your imagination desires. They have a metal detector off to the side as well, and there's a little map just on the top there showing some, oops, is that incorrect? There we go. That's a little bit closer, and mostly underwater map. Shows a little bit of surface features as well. Looks like you have kind of a control center there with some control sticks. I mean, moving that single seat out of the way, you see just a couple of control sticks as if you were going to drive this, which doesn't make all that much sense given that it's a base, but we'll find out a little bit more about that again in just a second. And this is just another view of the first interior space, and this has a chair that can rotate around. It's actually on a little turntable there, and that's about it for the main structure. The center portion up here doesn't really do anything. They just have the lights, and they have the windows, which, yeah, they really don't do anything. Now, this base is on a bit of a platform to anchor it to the sea, supposedly, and you have a little launch platform for a small water scooter here. This would just be held onto by a minifigure from the back. They have an air tank there, presumably, and a couple of spears, and you can imagine those being fired off. You can actually ram into your enemies with those. They're very pointy and pokey. Another little air tank right there, and a small station for using a crane, just a small crane to move small things around. You could imagine this being a pit over a deep, crevasse, so you'd be able to access things farther down, but you really have to use your imagination. They really don't give you much here to use with that. There is one of the treasure keys included in this set. It's the yellow one with the turtle on it. And these were really nice dual molded parts, or actually, excuse me, not dual molded, but two color. Looks dual molded, but that's actually just gold painted over the portions of the ring, and those are bar size, so you can put that in the hand of a minifigure. And these also have the large anti-stud on the underside, so you could, fish one of these up with that crane, but that's pretty much all that you can do in this set with that crane. But a couple of times, maybe a few times now, I've suggested that there may be more than meets the eye with this, and it has a transformative feature indeed. This whole thing, I'm just going to close up the fronts there, bring the roof down. That's what it becomes, where you have the windows there. That makes a little bit more sense. Turn these floodlights in, work lights, inward. This whole thing can lift off its platform. It's interesting what they did here with just these large kind of radome pieces. It makes it very easy and simple and smooth to just place this on there. But ultimately the whole thing is going to come together with just this single Technic pin at the back that will hold everything together. And now those thrusters make a lot more sense because they're actually going to be used for propulsion and for causing this thing to spin around. You can rotate them up and down a little bit. That doesn't really do much. I guess I could have, while it was open, I could have turned them up. Maybe that would have sparked a little bit of imagination, but there you go. So this whole thing is fully mobile, and that looks like a great submarine. It's fully closed up. It'll hold the figures inside. It'll hold more figures than are included in this set, which is good. And you can just imagine these being used for thrust as well. They should have range of motion to be able to rotate those up and down. It's unfortunate that they don't there. But I mean, this thing is closed up nicely from all sides. Again, with the use of more curved pieces, maybe where they didn't even need to use them, they could have gone a little bit cheaper than that. But this looks great. This is, yeah, I won't say it's one of my favorite of the Atlantis builds, vehicles, underwater vehicles, because they did pretty much all of them very nicely, but for something that starts out as a base, closes up very easily, this transforms well and looks pretty proper. So I'm definitely very happy with this, and definitely prefer this form to the base form, although the base form is great for play. Here's one of the dudes. This is Ace Speedman, and this figure is fully correct for this set as far as I can tell. He's got his eye patch there. I'm assuming he encountered some or took some damage in a previous battle, and the the bright green color, trance color, works really well with the lime green, because it feels like the lime green is very close to an opaque kind of version of that. So they're close enough, and taking off all of the apparatus there, you can very quickly and easily see what the print looks like underneath. Looks a little bit dated, I think, for its age, the torso print. The leg print, maybe a little bit as well. I think they did some stuff a little bit better than that by this time, but I appreciate the metallic printing, including, looks like there's some metal printing behind the knee pads. Looks like most of this actually has metallic silver color printing behind it, so it gives it a little extra shine, a little extra opacity. And he has this alternate face, which is really good. It's just a combination I don't think I've seen before, with that much facial hair, an eye patch, but then looking scared. Typically any figure with an eye patch and a lot of facial hair is going to look either just kind of complacent or angry. So this is a little bit different, kind of breaks the mold a bit. And then here is Jeff Fisher, and this figure is also correct, but it's not the same as it was when you first saw the figure at the beginning of the video, because I got this set used and off Bricklink, and Bricklink is a fantastic place to get parts new or used. It's a fantastic place to get new in-box sets, whether actually new or old stock, and it's a great place to get old sets that are almost complete. But this is an old set that was almost complete, because the figure that was included with it was this one, which is completely incorrect. It doesn't go with that. So you probably saw the yellow arms. I just swapped over to the body and legs of Ace Speedman, which are correct. The only thing different between those two characters in this set was just the head. So this is the correct look for him, and he also has two faces, one of them looking very scared. The third and final figure is a Mantis Warrior. Came with a golden trident there, pearl gold, and this has a unique head mold, the head gear mold, which is actually done in a fairly soft plastic, so it's fairly flexible, and it has a really good print on it. See, this is already, sorry about that, this is already better quality printing, in my opinion, than we saw on the human figures. Just has a little bit more detail, a little bit more artfulness to it. It's less simplistic, and I would say the same thing for the print on the torso of this one as well, though this one does not have any additional prints beyond just the front of the torso. The head is interesting, seems appropriate for going kind of with a hybrid between humanoid and fish-based. But see, just the level of detail in that torso print, even though it's just a single color, I don't know, it just seems more advanced to me. Too bad there's nothing on the back, but it's not all that bad. I think it was good enough to have this headgear piece with the kind of tail that goes down behind it, gives it some extra detail from the back, and yeah, I think that's fine. Detail on the tail. Yeah. So that's the Atlantis Exploration HQ. It's a little bit small for an HQ set, but I think it does its job well enough. It was not the largest set from this theme for that year, for that season, and so I guess it makes sense enough to have something a little bit smaller and a little bit more accessible price-wise to have in the range. And it's definitely nice to be able to get an actual headquarters set in a theme, something that's that important and kind of key as a place for all of one team to come together at a price that's based around 2 digits rather than 3. I love the submarine form and just wish there was a little bit more that you could do with this when it's all unfolded and unpacked. I feel like it just needed some small things, little bits of cargo to shuffle around or something. That's it for my look at this set though, so thank you very much for watching. Feel free to leave a comment if you'd like to down below, and I'll talk to you again soon.